It's Saturday, it's late, and I can't believe this was my idea because you lot have done some really nice videos and I haven't because I'm shattered, and I must admit I spent this morning just watching Legend of Korra and sitting to our new housemate who leaves soon. So that was good and I don't regret it, so screw you. The idea was to do 10 all-time best bots, and then people just started trying to ask me rules and regulations about it. What's wrong with you people? It's like you can't follow your own path. I don't need to set rules and regulations, and if I'm gonna set rules and regulations for things like this, I'll set them on the day. If I just say do it, just relax, and do stuff. It's brilliant. Just have fun with it, always. These are in no particular order. And while some of these may not be the best Transformers in all time, for my collection, all of these robots have a reason for me liking them or a reason for me having them. So these are my top 10 all-time best reasons to own a robot. Ravage. Alternators Ravage. Genuinely one of the finest alt modes you will ever find. The reason I particularly love this one is nothing to do with how good a toy this is. The mode of Ravage looking like Ravage is quirky and weird, and I do love it. But this toy used to live on my desk when I used to work for Total Fuels. And Total Fuels were going through a buyout at the time, and it was a very, very stressful time for everyone that worked for Total Butler. And I had this and one other toy on my desk, and I would play with them whenever it got tough. And it was a wonderful, brilliant way of getting through the day. And every time I look at this toy now, this will always be on display somewhere. I'd probably transformed this toy more than virtually any other toy I own, because it used to live on my desk and because I'd make it a cat into a car, into a cat into a car, 2 or 3 times a day, just because I needed the escape of having something else to do. The other toy that used to live on my desk was this one. He is a Transformers MP01. It's the cheesy Hasbro dirty version. There's nothing particularly special about it at all. His leg's fallen off and doesn't really work anymore, so I can't put him into a truck. I probably could, but I just don't want to run the risk of it falling off anymore. This toy was the toy that got me back into robots. This toy, when it came out in Toys R Us, made me realise that this shit is fun. And if you get one that you really, really like, you don't ever put it down, and it's always somewhere, and every time you see it, it makes you smile. And yes, it may have been surpassed by MP10, but this is the toy that made me think, oh well, if I've got that one, I might want to get this one, and I might want to get that one. That one looks nice. This is his fault. It's all his fault. I could have had a bloody Porsche by now, but no, I've just got a ton of these. Next on the list is a bot of renowned beauty that pretty much universally everybody adores. But this particular robot changed my mind as to the kind of collector that I thought I wanted to be. Spider Rider. Now this is, to be fair, a Ray made me do it, and a George made me do it. But what this is me discovering that the world of Transformers isn't about planes and cars and trucks. It's also about rhinoceroses and spiders and dragons, and it's difficult to own this toy and not just... And I keep all of my stuff in robot mode. All of my stuff. Except this. Because it just looks so good like this. I can't take it. It's beautiful. And it opened the door to me enjoying Rat Trap, the Generations Rat Trap, that I would never have bought in a million years. It's an excellent little figure. It's so much more fun than some of the more expensive stuff that I've bought. And while I don't particularly like the Generations Skybite, I've now got a proper Skybite, and that's beautiful. That's an amazing toy. These things are great, and if you are a car bot lover, don't be adverse to beasts. Just be picky, because there are some super good ones. And if you want one that's not too expensive and you want to try it out, get a Tarantulas, because that thing's just beautiful. When you put him in robot mode and arrange the legs over his back properly, superb. There aren't too many Optimus Primes in this. I could have just gone Optimus Prime crazy. I've got loads of them. I love them. You know that I love them because I do genuinely love them. It's like all the Optimus Primes and then pretty much everything else. This is the one that Phil gave me. And that's enough of a reason, because this is the one that Phil gave me. It's a very, very good toy. It looks so much like what you see on the telly. It's unbelievable. But this is the one that Phil gave me. And as such, is always out with me on display somewhere. It's always close to the bed. It was before I got the display, but then the display makes me smile just as much. This is one of the hands-on bots that lives with me. It stays with me. If I went on holiday, I might take something like this with me just to keep next to me, because I'm a child, deep down. Well, not deep down. I'm just a child. The next bot has meaning that I'm not going to go into. The next bot's caused arguments that I'm not going to go into. The next bot is just one of the best robots I own by a country mile. Animated Arcee. You just don't get better than this. In the top 10 Transformers ever that just make me go, oh look, it's a robot, oh love it. Oh look, it's a robot, oh love it, so good. Light piping is just glorious, the colours are glorious, it looks stupid and beautiful all at the same time. It's Animated Arcee. If you don't have one of these, you know there are those robots in your collection that you just ought to have. This is one of the ones that you just ought to have. Trust me, if you get it, you'll love it. Get yourself an Animated Arcee. The next ones come as a pair. Once upon a time when Auto Assembly started doing Auto Assembly only figures, I couldn't really afford them because that year I went and got the stuff that I liked. I wasn't particularly enamoured with the figures. And then when I got back, I did a whole video, a great big wet soppy video on how I wish I'd bought them, because AA is more than just an event that you go to, it's something that you're sort of part of, and if you are part of AA, everyone pulls together and everyone supports it, because most of us realise what an important opportunity it is once a year. So I said that I really wish I'd bought them, not because I like the figures, but because I like Auto Assembly and I want to support Auto Assembly. I want to back it up. So then Ben sent me these for my birthday last year. They're quite good. I can't remember their names. I call them Rockford and Fosgate because my first subwoofer I ever was a Rockford Fosgate, and I just like the name. They are the Auto Assembly exclusives from last year. They are okay. I don't like the colourways. They come in stupid names, and I wish Auto Assembly would just finally get something that everybody likes, because those stupid bloody Nintendo things this year are just shite. Blah. That's just my opinion. If you don't share it, that's fine. You do what you want, sunshine. I like these. I like these because I've got them for one of the best reasons, and that is the best reason to like them. Simple as that. AA. The next one I like for a bit of a selfish reason. The selfish reason being that I did a video that wasn't for my channel for it, and that video's got like, I think it's up to 27,000 views for some reason. And it's a bloody Bumblebee. But it is just the most magnificent Bumblebee. And I don't care what you say. It's the Cyberfire Bumblebee. It's the most successful figure of a bunch of figures that were pretty average. And this thing, although it's nothing like what you see in the movie, absolutely is just glorious. The light piping's brilliant, the posability is brilliant, the paintwork is brilliant, the colour scheme is brilliant, the orange windows are okay. It's about as good as movie toys offer, and I love movie toys. This is my shit, this is my bag, this is my jam on toast. The next one's fairly self-explanatory. I do love an Optimus Prime. And I love this one so much. The pinstriping on the paint, the silver on the face, the chrome on the collarbones. This is just absolutely sublime. And has the American sound chip. This is one I bought off Ben's Collectibles. I must be one of Ben's Collectibles' best customers these days, but I love this thing. I genuinely love this thing. I love this thing. I can't put it any other way. Nothing really comes close to it. I'm frightened to sit it down on anything with a hard surface because I don't want to scratch the feet. I love it that much. It's genuinely beautiful. The transformation's amazing. This is, to me, the best Transformers mould ever. If you don't share that opinion, that's absolutely fine. But to me, it doesn't get any better than this. This is the pinnacle. This is where it's at. And this is a KO. And you'd never know the difference. It's such a shame. I'm never going to spend the money on a proper one. I'm not that kind of collector. If I have a representation of it, that's fine. It's a KO, Dan. It's a KO. Do I need to say any more? Hours and hours and hours up the shed. Because I knew that what was coming out wasn't as good as what I could make. So I went and made one. With flames and dirt and rust and muck. And this was a success. This is one of the only things that I've ever really got round to finishing. And this makes me happy. It also makes Dave Shotton happy because he's got one too. And it was in his list. Little whiskey. It's the weekend. Not that it really needs to be the weekend. The last of this little eclectic gang is a difficult one and may spark some arguments. I think this next one is the best Transformer. I don't think it's the best Transformer because that is a very and purely subjective point of view. Gerard collects those fucking shit Pretender things and spends an absolute fortune on them sometimes, and I think he's crackers. But at the same time, Gerard looks at them and probably just smiles to himself and just goes, I've got one of those, I've got one of those. We all do it differently, and that's what's brilliant. I think this next one is faithful to the original, fun to play with, doesn't break easily, doesn't quite fit together as well as I'd like it to. The transformation is engaging but not too difficult. Kids could use it. I don't worry about rubbing chrome off it all over the place. The resale value is amazing. People still thirst and lust for this figure for absolutely ages, even though it's been out for cheap here, there and everywhere, and just loads and loads of good shit going on about this toy. I think if you were to pick the 10 best Transformers ever, this would be in the top 2. This one's for you, Stu. It's just incredible. It is literally incredible. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. The teeth are chrome, the eyes change colour. The detail inside the neck is amazing. The detail inside the belly is amazing. The way the legs work is amazing. The battery in his bloody leg still works after all this time. I love this thing. It doesn't get enough attention. It is a bit of a statue. I'd love to get the scoria and stuff like that. This is good specifically because John of the South came down from from Brighton where he lives. He came all the way down from Southampton because we had some, and then we went to Toys R Us together and took cameras and filmed each other buying these stupid things at the age that we were. And then when we went to a pub and sat there and opened the boxes and just went rah 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 with our Grimlocks, the people in the pub thought we were bonkers. And it was a really, really good day. I didn't get to share the Transformers experience very much. And this one I bought sharing the Transformers experience, and then it carried on after that. I didn't get bored of it. It doesn't become white noise in the background. Robots become white noise when you've got a big collection, I'm not bigging myself up by saying a big collection, but I've got lots of robots. But they're all over the place. As Lee said in his video the other day, it's a real shame when people have got lots of robots and they're all in boxes. And he's absolutely right, but I don't hold up that what I'm doing now is the be-all and end-all of what I'm ever going to do. And one day I will have a beautiful collection all down one wall. this doesn't become white noise. This doesn't fit in with the crowd. At no point ever has this beautiful, beautiful thing sat with the regular ones. This is a cut above. This is superb. There's a lot of money. If you can afford one, get one. If you can't, don't worry about it. He's not that special. But he is the best at being a robot and best at being a dinosaur, and the most fun to do them in between. He's very, very good. Try it, get one. That's been 10 robots. If you liked them, great. If you didn't, tough, because they're mine and not yours, so I do my own thing, as we all know. Last week's response was good. This week's response has been good. Mine is going to be late putting it up, but that's tough shit because you can't do anything about it. Neither can I, really. It's good round here, isn't it? Everyone's having fun. If you've got ideas, just shove them down me.